We are not editing any of this episode. What's up, everyone, and welcome to the Local Marketing Lab, where you get real-world insights from industry pros to help you drive local revenue and local growth. This podcast is brought to you by Evocalize, digital marketing tools powered by local data that automatically work where and when your locations need it most. Learn more at evocalize.com. What's up, and welcome to the Local Marketing Lab. Joining us in the lab today is an awesome guest. Super excited about this one. He's got over 30 years of experience in the restaurant industry and has been named one of the most influential restaurant CEOs by Nation Restaurant News. He's a spin class instructor, a huge U2 fan, and a managing partner at Let Us Entertain You, as well as the president and CEO of Wow. Geoff Alexander, thanks for joining us in the lab, my friend.
Boy, you just hyped me up that I better not disappoint.
If you blow this, I'm warning you.
And you made me old, over 30 years experience. I mean, like all the young kids just turned it off already.
Awesome. Well, hey, Geoff, I got to start off by saying, hats off to you. You're everywhere. I see you on the, events, on podcasts. Your face is all over my feed on LinkedIn. You obviously understand marketing, but one of the things that really made me excited to get you onto the show is your experience, both with Wow and with Let Us Entertain You. If you could real quick, just tee up, what your experience has been with both organizations and how Wow came to be, and we'll go from there. Sure.
So I joined Let Us Entertain You in 1993. Let Us Entertain You is a privately held restaurant group based in Chicago. I'm still a partner with Lettuce. It's been 30 years this past May. And over my tenure, I've worked on a number of different concepts. Lettuce creates anywhere from quick serve, fast casual like Wow to very high-end fine dining restaurants. I've done the gamut. I've done quick serve, fast casual, family style dining, high-end dining. And I just had a great time. And it's sort of like every 2 years, you get a new job with a new type of cuisine and a new type of staff. Wow launched in 2003 with Lettuce, and I took it over in 2009. And under my guidance, we've done a lot with technology. We've done airports, sports stadiums, music festivals, hot food vending machines, food trucks. Private equity got involved in 2017. Valor Equity Partners took a majority stake in the concept. Lettuce is still involved. They still have some board seats. I'm still a partner in Lettuce. But for the last 6 years, we've operated as our own brand. And coming out of the pandemic, or during the pandemic, we started getting the virtual dining space. We've done about 700 locations between the US and Canada in a 3-year period. We've also grown our consumer packaged goods grocery line from 350 grocery stores this time last year to now we're in about 6,000 grocery stores.
Very cool. Yeah, those are big numbers.
You're supposed to say wow.
That's wow. Wow.
There you go. That's marketing right there.
That's a very incredible success in a relatively short time. I think what was really appealing about that, and I appreciate you telling that story, is that you've got tons of experience that our listeners can glean from. So across many brands, not just Wow, you've had years of bringing new concepts to market, and a lot of that starts at the local level, which is what we love to give, insights around on this show. So given your experience, all the testing you've done over the years, and maybe you could focus specifically on Wow if you like what are the things that you feel are most important aspects of local marketing?
The number one thing about local marketing, and I'm not telling anyone anything they don't know, is being part of the community. And that's what it's all about. That is what local marketing is. It's being a member of the community. And I really got involved with marketing back in 1996. We had a concept called Big Bowl, still involved today, or not involved, but the restaurant still exists today, multiple locations. And I became the first GM, became the first area director overseeing the GMs. And I had a great mentor at the time, Ginnis Shannon, who just really pushed about the saying, everything we do is marketing. And what I mean by that is me talking to you right now is marketing the brand, how I look to you, how my office looks. Any aspect that the consumer touches is marketing. And at the time, it was all about growing a brand name. And that's really where I learned the idea of being part of the community, whether it was doing charity work or when new restaurants or new clubs or new stores and retail open in the neighborhood, sending food to them. What we still do to this day in the brands that I'm involved in is during the holiday season, Wow Bao has a location in Water Tower Place Mall here in Chicago. So during the holiday season, when the stores are all busy and the employees cannot go out to eat, we send food around the mall to all the different stores. Now, what happens by doing that is not only do the employees of the store appreciate it, they're going to think of you next time they're hungry. But when the guest or the client who's in that store is shopping says, hey, where should I get a bite to eat? You are front of mind at that time. So you've done something really good. You've helped out somebody and it comes back to you tenfold. And that's what it's all about when you say local marketing. It's how can you positively impact and influence the community around you.
Yeah, I love that story. I was listening to the podcast you were on with Jim Taylor and Adam Land, the Turning the Table podcast, and you told stories like that, and it's really cool. And honestly, I have repeated that story on other episodes with other guests because it is so impactful. And I love that you say every possible touch point that you can have is marketing. It all culminates into their experience with what we would refer to as your brand. Whether you're the example you gave on the other show too, you're writing, handwritten notes on the to-go boxes, you're delivering the things, you're delivering the food to people when they first open up a new store within your area for the first week or so. All that stuff, like you said, it gets your stuff in the hands of others as well as, gives them a positive experience so that they will refer folks to you because word of mouth is so strong.
But it feels good. And that's really the best kind of marketing. I mean, look, anybody can buy the back cover of a magazine. I don't know if people still read magazines. I still do, right? And it could sit there on a coffee table for months. But that doesn't have an impact. And marketing is supposed to make an impact. It's supposed to impact the people who are receiving the message. But there should be some kind of an impact internally of what you're making. We did an event last week. This is for those of you who are listening, 7 months from now in the archives, October 2023. We did an event for Linsage Breast Cancer, which is a large breast cancer research group here in Chicago. It was 850 people. There were 9 restaurants at the event, all with tables giving away food. They raised $1.4 million a night for breast cancer research. Wow. And we were there with a table. So you said, wow, Bao. I know you said wow, but you said wow. But, we had a table. The team that worked that night donated their time. Well, I paid them, but you know what I mean by that. And we donated the food. But the team got to work an event that night, which is outside the normal 4 walls of what they do. We were able to give to the community. We were able to receive from the community, obviously the accolades, the word of mouth, the social impact, the signage, people talking about it, and so on. And you gotta give back to the community. You gotta, the old days of if you build it, they will come don't exist anymore. It's now about let me open my doors, right? If you moved into the neighborhood in the old days, you moved in the neighborhood and all the neighbors came and brought you a dessert and welcomed you and knocked on the door. And I know that went away, X amount of years ago in different parts of the country, but that still is what this country is based on. It's about embracing one another. And local marketing is more than just dropping flyers on the bus and hope someone picks it up. It's about what do you stand for and how do you want to participate? And that is what people want nowadays. They want to identify. They want to feel good about your brand. They want to feel connected to who you are. I think the greatest connection of any restaurant that I've ever been in was going back to Big Bowl, right, in 2001 when 9/11 happened. And all you wanted at 9/11 was to be around loved ones. And we were an Asian restaurant. And the amount of people, and this is back in the days where TVs were like 700 pounds still, right? We didn't really have flat screen in 2001 like we do today. They cost 20 grand at the time. But the amount of people came and sat in our bar to be around one another in front of the TV, that was community. We had impacted so many people's lives about, the experience they had in our restaurant, from the employees and the food and the general feeling of warmth, that's where they wanted to be in that moment of crisis. And I think that's what is all about. How do you create that?
Yeah, 100%. No, I love that story. I got to say, Geoff, though, you've mentioned magazine covers, 700-pound TVs, like
30 years in the industry, you said, man.
How old are you? You don't have to answer that.
No, I've come up with 50 plus is what I say to people. But you said to the listeners, that I'm a spin instructor, so I stay young.
That's right.
I have a 24-year-old daughter, a 13-year-old son. So they not only keep me young, but they keep me up to date with what's what in the world. So I'm not any old mom. I'm a cool mom, right? For those of you
That's right.
Whatever the movie is, not Clueless, the other one. I ruined that joke by not even knowing the freaking movie by Tina Fey that I can't remember the goddamn name of the movie.
We are not editing any of this episode. That's great. For our listeners who are struggling at a local level, those are some really good ideas of how you can do some community engagement. But what are some other things that you think that they could do, or you could recommend they could do today or this week to start like moving in the right direction to generate some positive growth?
Yes, Justin, let's get all serious and back to the point at hand about what are easy things for the listeners to do. Look, local marketing is strictly about touch, right? If you do a TV ad, you do a radio ad, you do billboards, there's no touch, right? That's one directional marketing. Local marketing is communication. It's two-way. You referenced the story about how during COVID, we were writing handwritten notes on every order that left the restaurant because people weren't able to communicate. You could still do that today, right? You could still find, knock on the neighbor's door and just feed them, or, during baseball season with little leagues or football games in the local community, do a food drop off or do a discount to that baseball team to come in and have a meal, or even better, deliver the food to them, right? Like these things do not cost a lot of. Here's how I compare it to. If the back page of a magazine, or forget that, because I know no one knows what a magazine is who's listening. If I want to go and spend money on X, right? Let's just say a billboard ad on a website, and it's $2,000. I'm making up a number right now. It's $2,000, but that's going to reach, 17 million people. The ROI is fantastic, but let's be honest. I'm in Chicago. There's 3 million people or 5 million people in Chicago. Me reaching 17 million is not Chicago customers. No one is going to buy from Wow. So why don't I take that $2,000 and I could probably feed 2,000 people, give them each a single bow, if not more people. And if I put the product in your hand, if you taste my product, trust me when I tell you, that will create generate more revenue, more sales, more people talking about it than me going out and spending $2,000 on X. And I think what's important for the restaurant industry is it's all about the food. And if you can get your food into people's hands, that's the win. Now, look, if Apple turned around and gave away 2,000 iPhones, yeah, I think it would do something, because people will create jealousy and a frenzy and it'll go social and viral and all these things. But that's expensive. But you can easily, whatever restaurant you are, hamburgers, French fries, sandwiches, whatever it may be. I'm not saying you have to make if I was Subway, I don't need to make a foot long, give everybody a foot long, but I could take that foot long and probably come to 6 or 7 pieces and hand people the food. I'm not saying just walk down the street randomly and saying, here, eat, but we've done that too. We've gone on our street corners, and when we've launched a brand new menu item or new flavor or new breakfast item, right? We've handed out food. We've handed out coffee in the morning to drive people to come in. We've handed out coupons when there's a festival down the block or something new. The Taylor Swift movie launches last week, right? Number 1 movie in the country for 2 years straight. And we're located next door to a movie theater. Don't think we're not trying to drive those people either before or after that movie to come into our restaurant, whether it's, dropping off coupons to the people as they're walking into the movie, local marketing, just having a presence there, or even as the movie's letting out, handing everybody a dessert bow so that they have something to eat on their way home, so they think of us next time they go to that movie theater. Like it's touch. Local marketing is touch. And at the end of the day, I've said this on a number of different places, and I believe it, so I repeat it, is pre-pandemic, the restaurant industry was the hospitality industry. And post-pandemic, we're the food industry. And local marketing, where I say is touch, that's hospitality. And I am very passionate about this. I hope my passion is coming through, as this is important for our industry. And it's important for small businesses to touch the guest. And what better way than to get your product into their hands?
Exactly. Yeah, it all starts with that. That's super important. Like a lot of marketing dollars are spent on getting someone in the door for the first time. And it seems to me like that's a really effective way and low cost way to at least get your product in their hand without even bringing them in to then say, oh yeah, this is very good. I want to go in to have an awesome experience. And then that's also another place where the hospitality continues to take over, providing the solid guest experience, following up with them so that you can continue to bring them back in as loyal customers.
The other part of it is that it can't be missed here is you have to listen to that guest once they're in. Like if I just create some unbelievable moment to drive people into my business, but no one buys or touches or eats anything, I'm not learning. Where am I missing? Where am I succeeding? What am I doing right? If you get that product into their hand, you're going to hear, if you're willing to listen, what do they like? What do they not like? How to improve? Where else you should go? And when you're successful in local marketing, more opportunities come your way. We're doing right now, we just did last week, we do our annual bow eating contest. It's how many bow can you chow in 2 minutes? And we do 5 different heats. And we take the top 2 winners from each heat. And then we do our national championship, where we bring all those 10 winners together, and they go for the honor and the award of being named the number 1 bow champion in the country. And that championship is on November 4th, I believe, this year. But that creates local buzz, that creates local excitement, that creates hype, opportunity. And by the way, in the restaurant, it's energy and fun for your team. Yeah. And that buy-in, that opportunity to do something different pays such dividends with your staff that they get excited and they want to talk to people and they want to participate. And then you just grow and grow at such an expedient rate you weren't ready for it, which is a good thing.
Yeah, exactly. And it gets people, I mean, stuff like that's really engaging, gets people to want to take their own video and post on social, generate a lot of user-generated content, be able to leverage that as well. I mean, it really helps to create that local buzz. I love that example.
Well, we haven't even talked about the whole going viral, right? Any of these things I mentioned to you about, somebody could take it and it just goes at a rate that's free marketing. By you doing these good acts of feeding people, giving away food, being part of the community, so on and so forth, you get all this free marketing on the backside as a bonus. There's the huge win.
Exactly. Yeah, a little bit up front, generates a lot of return on the backside. That's a great point. I once ate 17 Twinkies in a minute and regretted it for the rest of the day.
Only that day, though. Only that one day you regret it. I went back and tried to make 18 the next day.
I was like Kobayashi dipping them in the water. Oh, bad choices.
They do that with the bow during the bow competition. People are dumping the bow.
Oh,
yeah. Not
that's
me.
So great.
No, thank you.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Who do you think is doing some really cool stuff from a local marketing standpoint, or who have you seen as being real successful you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, look, I think the mom and pops of the world who want to be part of the community just do a great job and deserve recognition, because they don't get the same acknowledgement as the larger brands do, because they just, I love the mom and pop retail stores to put like signs out on the street and just have fun with the signs. I just think that's a great way to draw attention. Obviously, from a chain perspective, Sweet Green does a fantastic thing every time they open up a new location and a new city. Their give back that they try to do the community. They are very much embracing the mentality of local, from the ingredients they use to being part of the community. What's funny about it, as long as you're positive and interacting with the community, I don't think you can have bad local marketing. And I think that's the takeaway, is just be a positive part of the community. You know, I love the stores that on Halloween are going to just give away stuff to people when they come into the store. And that's so easy. Go buy a bag of Snickers and just hear a little mini Snickers to everyone who walks in. And why people don't think about doing that is beyond me. You know, when the Chicago Marathon was here, people gave away free items to people who wore their medal. Like, just embrace the moment, be part of the culture. It's so powerful and positive, and they pay such dividends.
For sure. Yeah. Little moments of surprise and delight go a long way in any industry, really.
That's the takeaway. Your line right there. You don't even need me on this podcast.
Yeah.
Moments of surprise and delight. There you go. Put it on a shirt.
Here we go. So speaking of surprise and delight, I got a little bit of information on you when I was doing some digging. And not only did I...
Is this my surprise that you get delighted? I can't wait to hear this.
So not only did I find out, you know, that you were a spin instructor and you know, you love classic rock, U2 is your favorite band. I like to have fun with it and throw it into an AI tool and see what it comes up with. And for you, I kept getting like Swayze vibes, like real 80s.
I love the 80s. My wife gets mad at me because I say to her, if I can go back, oh my God, it's like Rambo on a spin bike right there. That is horrible. How do you... All right, wait. Am I screenshotting this? Or are you going to send this to me? This is unbelievable, right?
Send it to you.
For the record, I don't look like that whatsoever. My arms, I don't know, man. Maybe it's real. That's amazing.
Yeah, so your wife might not be mad at this picture, so we'll make sure we'll get it over to you. But what was funny is I sent this over to Troy Hooper, and he said, I was like, you think he'll like this? And he's like, yeah, he said, but is there any way you can incorporate a little bit of Chicago, maybe some New York City, maybe some golf? Or is that too much? And I thought, it is too much, Troy. But I tried. Last minute dish effort. I threw you teaching a big glass in Times Square.
Okay. So the first one looked like Patrick Swayze meets Rambo. This looks like Squid Games right here that you ripped off for me right there. That's unbelievable. I'm taking the first one and I'm updating my LinkedIn profile photo just for that. 100% shout out to you and the team. That is amazing.
Oh man,
I'm gonna get that. I'm at the gym's website. I'll be like, take my class. You could look like this.
Everyone that came back. So the process is you create a picture and you swap the face. Everyone looked like Patrick Swayze. And so it was like it oddly was a really easy swap. But anyways, the hair killed me too.
I love the 80s. And I teased my wife. I'm like, if I can go back to any moment in my history, I go back to 1984. I was, like 14, 15 years old, 10th grade in high school. Like, that was the year of party for me. And you nailed it right there, man. That's what I looked like back in the 80s.
Cobra Kai vibes.
100%. That's amazing.
Anyways, well, hey, how should listeners follow you, follow your brand?
Don't follow me, follow WowBow. It is a team win here on everything we are succeeding, everything we are doing. And I could not be more proud of how this brand has continued to explode and grow and surprise even me with the opportunities we do. So thank you. Appreciate the time.
You bet. Hey, it was a ton of fun having you on the show. If you're listening and you're feeling a hankering, stop by WowBow, check it out. They've got a lot of really cool stuff. Airports, universities, they're everywhere, in machines, literally everywhere.
Go to Walmart. Buy it at Walmart. Get it in your freezer section.
Awesome. Well, hey, Geoff, it was a ton of fun having you in the lab. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
As always, thanks for joining us in the Local Marketing Lab. This podcast is brought to you by Evocalize. To learn how Evocalize can help you grow your business, visit evocalize.com. If you learned something new from today's episode, don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform and follow us on LinkedIn and Facebook at Evocalize. That's EVOCALIZE. And on X at Evocalize Inc. And remember, keep innovating and trying new things. You never know what's going to connect with your audience until you try. And until next time, thanks for listening.